I'm Christopher Hine, and we're going to make some more videos for you guys about Kanren Waza. So we have a three-part series here on Ude Osae. The breakdown of this is a little different than the first video I made, because the first video I kind of had to explain what Kanren Waza was as we went, and now I'm assuming you've seen that video. If you haven't, you should watch the first video on Kanren Waza, which is on the Patreon page, and you can see it no problem. It's also on YouTube, you can see it. But we're going to talk here about the extension of the Ude Osae, which comes off of that Ikkyo, and Ude Osae just means the arm pinning technique or arm controlling technique. So from that, we're going to see what the takedown's about, what the Kanren for the takedown is, and that's going to be this video. We're also going to then follow up with a video on what to do if you cannot get the takedown, and then what to do if they can absolutely overcome you. So we're going to make those three in the series. This first one right now that you're watching is going to be about the takedown itself. I'm going to get Josh. We're going to go to work. Josh? All right, so we're going to talk about Ude Osae. In this portion, we're going to talk about Ude Osae just for the takedown. So what are the adaptations for the Ude Osae in the takedown? When we're talking about Kanren Waza, a lot of the stuff I'm going to show you, you've already learned in Aikido forms. You probably just don't recognize it as answers to upcoming problems. Once you understand the whole of the syllabus and you can kind of go back and look through it, you can see that the form teaches you Kanren rather naturally, and you don't need to go through and learn a set of Kanren. But the problem with that is you don't as clearly get it as you will in just studying a set of Kanren. So we're going to talk about the Kanren for Ude Osae. All right, so Ude Osae just means arm pin. We're going to start right from this position. Now, you could call this the Ikkyo pin if you want, or Ikkyo Osae, but that's only one aspect of all the stuff that comes from this series. All right, now, if you happen to have someone in this position and you want to make the takedown, how does the takedown go through? Now, you should start with this with the lead leg being on the outside and the near leg, the leg that's near him, being on the inside. And the reason for that is this makes it most difficult for him to get a hold of my leg. So if I had his arm here decently, if he goes to get my legs, you can see that leg's going to cost him, right? He's going to fall down for that leg. If he reaches over for this other leg, it's real hard for him to get and going to cost him. Okay? However, if I have this leg forward, he real easily can sneak in and grab that leg, and that's going to give me trouble. So before I have this guy in a decent control position, I want to make sure my near leg is back and my outside leg is the far forward leg. Okay, now, when I want to get this guy down, what am I trying to do? When he's like he is right now, so that other hand's not touching, that means he's balanced and can balance on his feet. I do not want to step in until I take that balance away. So I need to in some way get him nudged forward to do that. Now the second he touches, he needs 3 points to be balanced. So in this 3-point balance, I can step forward, because if he were to grab my leg here, he's got no balance and he'll fall down, right? So that's the time when you can safely step in, is once this hand touches. Until that hand touches, you can't risk stepping in, because most likely he's gonna be able to get you. Now understand, all this is coming off of our Aikido context. I'm not gonna hit that in this video right now because it'll take too long to talk about, but this came up because of an inherent imbalance in whatever he was doing, and that's why this came up. And for some reason, pinning him was a good option, and there's tons of reasons that could be. There's a situation I need to control, he's armed, I need to save other people, all kinds of other stuff. We'll talk about that in other videos, but this is coming off of the Aikido context. So I want the outside leg forward, near leg is back until he touches. Once he touches, I can safely step in. Now this stepping in is going to feel better to you because now I have more weight over the top of him, so it's going to be easier for me to control this guy. Now how do I get him down? If I'm lucky, when I take my initial step in, I will bump him off balance and he'll pretty much get broken down at that point, right? So that would be really fantastic if my initial step is what hit him. So once he touches there and I step this leg in, my goal is to try and knock him straight back like that. And if I can break him down there, then good. And I'll just work him the rest of the way down. I'll drop the inside leg here, and then I'll go into the pin from here. If, after I've got him to touch, I step in and he just adjusts by sticking his hand out, then I'm going to pull him this way, like this, okay? And he'll shoot his hand, I'll step in, and let me explain what's going to go on in this process, all right? And Josh is doing a lot of work here because he has to stay in this position. So once his hand touches, that's what's helping him balance over there. He's got nothing balancing over here. So if he's shot his hand out so far that I didn't break his balance there, there's a possibility to pull him into this gap here to break him down right there. And that's what I'd like to have, is have that little gap happen. But he can also shoot his hand out here to stop that from happening. But now he's not balanced over there, so I'll drive into that, right? So what I'm trying to do when I'm trying to get the takedown from here is move back and forth like this, so he only has one hand to balance himself, and eventually I should be able to break him down by going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth like that. Okay, now as I'm doing this, there's several things I can do with the arm, okay? Right now, the way that you're seeing me do this is a really poor rokyo, so it's against the joint here, it's a bad rokyo. I would prefer to get the ikkyo if I could, right? So this ikkyo, what it does, if you watch Josh's balance, so watch if I go from here, watch me rotate this elbow, I'm already putting him into a worse position. So if I can stay on the underside of the elbow, it's going to be a lot easier to control him for the takedown than it is if I can't. Now, he might not like that, so he very well might straighten that elbow out and keep me from doing that. And you're going to experience this a lot with your ukes, where they're going to try and straighten their arm out to keep you from doing that. Now, you have a few options. One of the options is to go right into the rokyo here with your hand, where I press in here and I'm trying to get this control. Another option is to use the straight arm he's given you to go into the shoulder. So I can go into the shoulder and I'm driving right into the shoulder joint with that. You can also readjust this hand to go into a number of different things. One is gokyo, one is nikyo, we can get sankyo, so we can go into a few different things here, but I can use the control at the wrist here to try and get him to go where I want. So ideally, when I'm working this breakdown here, I would like to have this elbow rolled, but if I can't hold that and he straightens it out, I can drive into the elbow itself, I can drive into the shoulder, or I can control this hand and go into the hand. And I can use all those things to help me start breaking his balance. Because while that's going on, I'm going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, trying to break his balance down. Let Josh stand up here for a sec. Okay, so that's the objective. I've driven into him and I'm controlling his arm. I want to keep my near leg back until he's touching. Once he touches, I know that he's not stable on just the two legs. So that means it's safe to step in. When I step in, I want to step in dominantly, and ideally I'll just knock him down when I do that. If I don't do that, I'm going to immediately pull him back to this area right here where he doesn't have a hand. So what he'll probably try to do is shoot his hand over there to keep himself from falling, and then I will drive over here. So basically what's happening is I'm always pulling where his hand isn't. So if his hand was here, I'm going to pull him this way. When I pull him this way, he'll move his hand over here to stop himself from falling that way. Then I immediately push back here. If he moves his hand back here, then I pull back. So back and forth, I'm going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to break him down. If I need a little more encouragement, I'm going to try to use that ikkyo, because ikkyo is going to give me a really nice advantage as long as I can hold it. If I can't get the ikkyo, I could go into the rokyo with my hand, I can go into his shoulder directly, and I can go into a gokyo or a nikyo over here to help get him down, right? So those are my main ideas once I'm in that ure-ose position and I'm trying to get the takedown. Now, if I can't get the takedown, what do I do? Our next video series, we're going to talk about if you cannot possibly manage the takedown. I'm Christopher Hine. Thanks for watching.